What if the secrets to a stronger, more resilient life weren't actually found in some modern self-help book, but in stories that have been told for centuries? Today, we're going to unlock the wisdom of 7 ancient fables and turn it into a practical guide for building your inner strength.
It's a really powerful question, isn't it? So often, we look at the world around us and either credit it or blame it for our successes and failures. But what if that's not the whole story? These fables, they suggest something different. They suggest that the most important blueprint we'll ever work from is the one we design for our own inner world. We are the architects.
So, where do we even begin? How do we start building? Well, we're going to lay the foundation with 3 core pillars. Each one is a powerful lesson pulled directly from these fables, and together, they give you a practical framework you can start using, like, right now.
Okay, our first pillar is all about mastering your mindset. I want you to think of it as that constant conversation you're having with yourself. You know the one. It's the story you repeat in your own head, day in and day out. And as we're about to see, that quiet, internal story has the power to completely reshape your external world.
This powerful idea comes from the story of Amma Bano, a wise woman who taught a very simple but profound truth. Our mindset is a choice. It's not about waiting around for hope to find you. It's about actively choosing it. And when you do that, you basically open the door for good things to walk right in.
But what happens when that inner story is a destructive one? Let's consider the story of a salt cellar's son. His inner world wasn't built on hope at all. It was built on a foundation of fear and self-doubt, and it was all cemented by his father's harsh words. That single belief that he was worthless became a poison that seeped into every single thing he did, leading him right to the edge of despair.
And this is where everything changes. A wise man doesn't just give him some fluffy advice. He gives him a series of tasks. What's so brilliant about these tasks is that each one is specifically designed to dismantle a fear he has. The lesson wasn't to think his way to confidence, it was to act his way there.
And here we see the core lesson in action. Self-confidence isn't some trait you're born with. It's a muscle. It only gets stronger when you push it, when you step right into the discomfort of the unknown. By changing his actions, the young man totally changed how he showed up in the world. And guess what? The world changed how it responded to him.
So ultimately, it really comes down to this internal choice. A mindset that's rooted in fear, like the one the young man started with, will always paralyze you. But a mindset rooted in faith, faith in yourself, faith in possibility, just like Amma Bano taught, well, that empowers you. It's a conscious shift away from what if it all goes wrong to what good can I find right now.
But look, a powerful mindset is only half the equation. It's the engine, for sure, but an engine needs fuel to move forward. And that brings us to our second pillar, the discipline of action. Because honestly, a thought without any action is really just a dream. This great insight comes from the story of Gopal Kaka, a retired army officer who had absolutely no time for excuses, and a lazy young boy named Arav, who was full of dreams but totally empty of effort. Gopal Kaka's lesson is one we can all learn from. Motivation might get you to the starting line, but it's the habits that actually get you to the finish line. This really breaks it down perfectly. Motivation is like a spark. It's bright, it's powerful, but it's also fleeting. It doesn't last. Habits, on the other hand, are like a steady flame. They don't care how you feel, they just depend on your commitment to showing up day in and day out. For Arav, this was the secret. Stop waiting for some big burst of inspiration and instead embrace the quiet power of small, daily actions.
But action isn't just about what you do, it's also about why you're doing it. Let's look at the story of Ethan. On the surface, he was incredibly disciplined, right? Saving every penny he earned. But his actions weren't driven by purpose. They were driven by fear. He wasn't building a future, he was trying to build a fortress against it. And his transformation is all about this one shift. Initially, his money was just silent, locked away in a drawer. But the moment he moved from a mindset of fear to one of purpose, everything changed. He started using his money not to hide, but to build something, to solve a real problem for his community. His money finally found its purpose, and in doing that, it created even more value.
Okay, so we've got a strong mindset. We're committed to disciplined action. But all of that hard work can be completely undone if we don't protect it. This brings us to our third and final pillar, the wisdom of boundaries. This is all about building the walls that protect that inner world you've worked so hard to create.
Wow, this quote really gets to the heart of it, and it comes from the story of a man named Daniel.
He was that kind of person who just couldn't say no, a chronic people pleaser. His story is such a stark reminder that without boundaries, even our best intentions, like kindness, can actually become a form of self-destruction.
And this wasn't just some metaphor. Daniel's life was literally falling apart. His fence was broken, his roof was leaking, all because he was too busy fixing everyone else's problems. Every single time he said yes to someone else, he was unknowingly saying no to himself, and the cost was his own well-being.
But boundaries aren't just about protecting our time and our energy. They're also about protecting our inner thoughts and our vulnerabilities. The tragic story of John shows us exactly what can happen when we share our truth with someone who really hasn't earned our trust.
It started so simply, just a moment of honesty, him saying that he was tired. But that single vulnerability was twisted. It was passed from person to person, and with each retelling, the distortion just grew and grew. What began as a simple statement became a rumor. Then it became a perceived threat, and ultimately, it cost him his job. It's a truly terrifying example of how quickly our own words can escape our control.
And this is exactly why boundaries are not selfish. They are an essential act of self-preservation. It's not about shutting people out. It's about being discerning. It's about recognizing that your time, your peace, and your vulnerability are precious, and not everyone has earned the right to have access to them.
All right, we've journeyed through mindset, action, and boundaries. 3 incredibly powerful pillars for building a stronger inner world. But knowledge is only potential, right? So, where do we begin? How do we actually turn these ideas into reality? It all starts with one small conscious step.
So here it is. This is your toolkit for becoming the architect of your inner world. You have the power to master your mindset, to choose a story of faith over fear. You have the ability to embrace disciplined action, turning tiny habits into monumental change. And you have the wisdom to set boundaries, protecting the incredible world that you are building. These aren't just ideas, they are your tools.
And if there is one lesson to take away from all of these stories, it's this. You don't need some grand, sweeping gesture to change your life. The most powerful transformations are so often sparked by the smallest, most consistent actions. The shy boy didn't become confident overnight. It started with just one conversation. Arav didn't build a new life with one big burst of motivation, but with one small habit.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Don't think about changing everything all at once. Just think about one thing. Based on everything we've explored today, what is the one small habit you can start tomorrow? What is the very first brick you're going to lay in the foundation of your stronger inner world?